Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here today, what you've testified to. We've heard this not only here in Congress, but in our communities back home, and I myself just came back from Israel, where there is a deep-seated fear that there is a separation between Israel and the United States because of the policies of this administration. According to Hillel International, there have been 1,584 total reported anti-Semitic incidents on college campuses since October 7th. Since October 7th. That's a 700% increase compared to just last year. At 65 institutions of higher education have been placed under investigation since October 7th of last year. 65. Mr. Chairman, I request unanimous consent to enter into the record the statistics from Hillel International.
Without objection.
So let's take a look at these statistics in action. Let's play a video.
Video shows protesters stacking those barricades and then planting a Palestinian flag in them.
So these clips are just a snippet of the nonsense that we have seen on college campuses since October 7th. This isn't in Gaza. This isn't in the West Bank. This is right here in our country. Institutions of higher education, which are supposed to be great institutions of learning where you develop as an individual, are now places of repression and suppression, depending on who you are. The last photo, George Washington visualized dressed up, I think is one of the most important things that I've seen. That's right here in our nation's capital. It's heartbreaking to see that, and I'm not Jewish, but I empathize with what you two have gone through in your classmates, and not only at your schools, but in dozens of schools across the country. Mr. Kessenbaum, just yesterday, protesters at Harvard finally took down their tents as the university officials agreed to the students to discuss the questions about the university's endowment. Have Harvard officials publicly condemned anti-Semitism that Jewish students have faced on campus in any which way?
As it pertains to the encampments, Harvard, forget about, hasn't condemned the anti-Semitism from the encampments. They haven't even acknowledged that it happened.
Do you feel that Jewish students at Harvard have an ally and an advocate in the administration?
In no uncertain terms, let me be absolutely clear. Jewish students do not have a single advocate at Harvard University. The president doesn't meet with us or care about us. Our respective deans don't meet with us or care about us. We have students who have seen that there is no responsibility or accountability for their actions. So they can chant, globalize the Intifada. They can chant calls for the ethnic genocide of Jewish people. They can draw our Jewish university president as a devil because they know they will get away with it. It is inconceivable that any other minority group in the United States would be treated with the scorn and contempt and disregard that Harvard treats its Jewish student population. And let me just add, it is a damning indictment that in order for Jewish students at Harvard to receive equity, equality, or justice, we have to go to a court of law, we have to go to the United States Congress, we have to go to the media, because the people at Harvard, who again, I'm sure are watching this, they won't even talk to us.
Yeah, isn't that absurd, right? Like, you're followed on a college campus, you can't go to school. In some universities, they're canceling commencement. I mean, y'all are the generation that couldn't go to your own commencement for high school because of COVID, and now these radical lunatics are taking over a college campus, and we can't ensure the security of our own students, so we're gonna cancel things. And then we adhere and acquiesce to the demands of this lunatic fringe. It just doesn't, it makes no sense to me. Mr. Jacoby, earlier this month, you delivered a petition to shut down the encampments. I think you got 3,200 signatures. You delivered it to the president, the provost, and the board of trustees. You did not receive a timely response, so you sent a letter. I think it was in an email, and you laid out a few demands. Can you elaborate what those were, really briefly?
Thank you for the question, Representative Fry. The demands were actually exactly what the president stated within 24 hours of the encampment, is disbanding an encampment, which is allowing violence, pro-terrorism support to happen. We got 3,300 signatures on that petition, and then after a week, when we hadn't heard a response, we sent another petition where we got 2,800 signatures within 24 hours. both of which were not responded to, and yet the administration had 3 meetings with the encampment.
And in my last question here, do you believe, both of you, do you believe that your universities are doing enough to prevent anti-Semitism on college campuses? That's an obvious answer, I think. But
I wouldn't say that they're not doing enough. They're not doing anything.
Mr. Jacoby?
It's almost a satirical question with how little they're doing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, your bravery today to be here. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, gentleman of South Carolina. I recognize the gentlelady for a UC request.
Yeah, I request unanimous consent to enter